Welcome to downtown. I'm your host, Robbie Haigh, and thank you for being with us. Today we are at the United States Coast Guard station on the canal in Sandwich, Massachusetts. And I'm speaking with Adam Murray. Basically, well, of course it says Homeland Security, so you're making us all secure, Adam.
Yes, ma'am. We do Homeland Security. We also do search and rescue, and we enforce federal laws and regulations within our area of responsibility here.
Mm-hmm. And your area is the Cape Cod Canal?
Yes, ma'am. It covers half of Buzzards Bay, all of Cape Cod Canal, and then half of Cape Cod Bay as well.
Wow, okay. I heard on the news that the Coast Guard rescued a manatee.
Oh, yes, ma'am. I saw that as well. They flew it back down to Florida, I believe.
They did, yeah. So I'm sure your duties here are a great deal more than capturing a manatee.
It encompasses a lot. Anything from marine protection to all the mariners that use and recreate on our waters.
Very good. And you mentioned that there was a little bit of an accident at the train bridge.
Yes, ma'am. A couple weeks ago, one of the cruise ships that was transiting through the canal struck the train bridge, but there were no injuries and everybody was safe.
Yeah, but you do have to go down and check it out and make sure everyone's safe.
Yes, that's what we do here. We kind of run like a firehouse. We do training, we maintain our own boats. We have a crew of 22 people here that's here 365 days a year.
Wow.
And rotate out, and we stand by for when mariners need help on the water.
And you're basically in charge, Adam.
Yes, ma'am. That's what they tell me. I'm the officer in charge of the unit.
Glad to hear it. So we're going to talk with a couple of your other people and see what's happening here on a daily basis.
Yes, ma'am. We plan on doing that, and also hopefully we can get you guys underway on the boats to show what we do in training mission.
Excellent. And now we're speaking with Brett Aruda, who also works here at the United States Coast Guard in Sandwich. Brett, thank you for talking with us.
Thanks for coming by.
It's my pleasure.
So I'm the Executive Petty Officer here at Station Cape Cod Canal, bosun mate first class. Been here for about 4 months. Just to give you an idea, we have about 22 people here, active duty crew members.
Okay.
On top of that, we have about 8 reservists. So the station is manned 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We have 2 duty crews, and they swap out 2 days on, 2 days off, and every other weekend.
Oh.
So we have 2 response boats. We have a 45-foot response boat and a 29-foot response boat.
Okay.
And I think we're going to bring you guys down there and get you out on them as well.
Sounds like fun.
So our area of responsibility is obviously the canal, and then you have out into Cape Cod Bay up north towards just about to Plymouth, Massachusetts, and then east to Wellfleet, Massachusetts.
Wow.
And then on the opposite side you have Buzzards Bay, and that's pretty much our entire area of responsibility. Mm-hmm. Our primary missions, we cover search and rescue, law enforcement, and Homeland Security.
Very good. Do you work with Mass Maritime?
We do have some sort of partnerships. We don't necessarily work alongside them, but if they reached out to us or we reached out to them for training missions, we're always looking to do multi-asset training and reaching out to different assets in the area.
Very good. And how long have you been with the Coast Guard here in Sandwich?
I've been here at this station for 4 months.
But you've been in the Coast Guard?
Just about 10 years.
Very good.
Yes, ma'am.
And you come from?
I'm from Tiverton, Rhode Island.
Wonderful.
Too far away, about 50 minutes from here.
Very good.
Yes.
Now, when you put in to come here, this was your choice, or you were sent here?
This was my first pick.
Excellent.
Yes, I've actually been, every time I've gone through the canal on other ships or even growing up fishing, I always looked at this place saying this would be a pretty neat spot to be stationed.
And you were right.
Yeah, and I was right. Yes, ma'am.
I'm glad to hear it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And now we're speaking with Jacob Ellis, who is engineer for the Coast Guard.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, Jacob.
In general, I'm in charge of all the maintenance on the boats, making sure they're ready to go at all times. So we have, two Series 60s MTU engines on board. So I'm knowledgeable in diesel mechanics along with Honda mechanics on that boat. If you see over there, I've gone to Honda school to work on those. I'm also in charge of all of the generators and electronic systems on this boat as well.
Oh, very good.
Yep.
Very good. So how long have you been with Coast Guard?
I've been in the Coast Guard for 8 years.
And you've come from?
I'm from Brockton, Massachusetts, actually.
Oh, good. Yeah, very good. Yeah. It's interesting that people come from all over.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that it's your objective to be part of the Coast Guard here in Sandwich.
It is. Yep. This was my number 1 pick coming out of Virginia.
Excellent.
Got to be close to home, close to mom.
I like it. You're saying the right thing, Jake. I know you're protecting us, but to think of protecting us on our canal that we love so much and walk often, and it just gives a different light to what's going on.
Yeah, we protect the homeland.
It's serious. It's more serious than just a little
What's
canal.
funny is I grew up going to these beaches as a kid, so
yeah.
I knew the area pretty well. If you've ever heard us talk about the area of responsibility,
Yes.
I already knew it pretty well. I knew spots that people didn't know about, so
Wow.
that helped out a lot.
Sure. And you knew you wanted to do this.
I did. When I first came out, I wasn't sure if I wanted to make it a long-term career or not yet. I still don't know.
Yeah.
But I know for a fact that I did want to join and I wanted to serve the country.
Yeah. So you'll be here for how long?
I'm supposed to transfer this summer.
Okay.
So I'll put in my picks and we'll see what happens from there.
Well, very good.
Yes, ma'am.
I wish you luck.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for what you do for our homeland.
Not a problem.
It's a pleasure to meet you. And now we're talking with Seaman Brett Cox here at the Coast Guard Station in Sandwich. Welcome to the show,
Thank
Brett.
you, appreciate it.
Thank you. We appreciate you.
No.
And tell us a little of what you do here.
Okay, so I'm a non-rate at the station, so basically what that means is I haven't been to school yet, which I explained to you a little earlier. I'm just waiting to go to school. How that works with the Coast Guard is you put your name on a list, you just wait for your name to get called, pretty much. Other than that, I'm a boat crewman, so I go out on all the SAR cases, a watchstander, so man the radios for up to 4 hours a day. Throughout the whole duty section, we all switch and take turns with that, and basically keep up boat maintenance, help the engineers out with whatever they need, and cleaning the boats, and making sure we keep it a high standard and make sure everything's good to go for anything to happen.
So how do you get here without schooling? How does that work?
So basically, you apply. It all depends on how you apply. You go through a recruiter with just with every other branch. Being with certain rates, if you've gone to school, it does help you with bonuses and other things like that. But it's just like any other branch. You just go to recruiter, and you have to take the ASVAB. And once you take your ASVAB, it's just like any other branch.
Okay. And where do you come to us from?
From Clayton, New Jersey.
Okay. Very good.
Yeah.
And what's your plan for going to school? What would you be doing then?
So once I go to school, I want to become an aviation maintenance technician, and I haven't really decided yet if I want to go use helos or fixed wing aircraft, and then from there, hopefully get a station in Atlantic City, New Jersey, if I can get
Wow.
lucky.
So the plan is
The
pretty
plan
far.
is it's either really close to home or, probably California if I could.
Yeah. So, but you have a choice.
Yep, you have a choice. How that works is through school, how you rank in your class goes by how you pick your station. So they give you a list of stations, and then you pick from there, basically highest from lowest.
Very good. I think it's wonderful.
Yeah.
Knowing what you want is fantastic.
You always got to be prepared, and you always want to be a step ahead.
Very good.
Yep.
So you're going to take us on your
This is the responsible medium.
Pardon me?
Yep, this is the responsible medium. It's a 45-foot small boat. Here we just have 145, and then this is the 29 responsible small.
Okay. So depending upon the problem in the water?
Yeah, depending on if it's anything down in Buzzards Bay or up in Cape Cod Bay, we'll take the 45. It's a lot stronger assets, faster, It's more capable, it's more reliable. If it's something in like the canal, it's something small. It all depends on boat size too. Say if it's just a small guy, 15, 20 feet, we'll take the 29. It's just easier, a little easier to maneuver around the smaller boats, and just with that.
So it's all a plan.
It's always planned. You always got to plan ahead, and you judge by each SAR case is completely different. You have different people, different boats, different weather, all of that. So it all comes into a factor, and the coxswain and the crew, they all talk and say what's the best asset to use.
Good. Nothing like communication.
It's key. Communication is key.
Communication is key. Well, shall we get on board?
Of course.
All right.
We can step over here on 45. There you go.
Okay.
So yep, this is the 45 response boat medium. It runs on 2 Detroit diesel Series 60 diesel engines. From there, you have you want to take a step inside. It's all
Sure.
It's all controlled by joysticks.
Oh, wow.
The whole boat. So
Okay.
basically, from here you have this seat is for anybody who's doing chart paperwork.
Okay.
And that's all down here. This is the engineer's console. So basically, they're going to monitor here engine temperature, coolant temperature. They also have a plotter on there, so they know where we're at. All the kill switches, and then all the controls for here. And then from there you have the coxswain seat. So that's the person driving. They're in complete control. So that's all driven by joysticks. This boat also has it's called docking mode. So it can go forward, back, side to side. Any way you want to move this boat, it'll go for you.
Very good.
And then this seat right here is a navigator seat. So this is gonna the person here is gonna be putting in your routes, telling you where to go. Also like looking out of the boat, looking for hazards while we're underway. Most of the time this person's going to be using the radio, and also say if the coxswain does get injured while we're underway or something happens, the person here can take over completely just by double tapping the button, takes control of the whole system. Just
So
from that.
generally there are 4 men.
Yep, generally there's 4 people.
Very
about
good.
that.
Yeah.
And then down here is just a survivor's compartment. This holds up to about 5 or 6 people. With seats, seat-wise, we can hold about 5 or 6 people. So basically down there, if we rescue anybody or bring anybody on board, we can put them down there. Say if we have to make an arrest or anything like that, it just kind of puts them away in a different area. All the doors locked down there.
Wow.
This boat's also a self-righting boat, so if it does flip over, it'll flip itself right back over.
My goodness.
Yeah.
And you said, and I didn't think of this, if you're arresting someone,
Yeah.
you do have
Yep.
such a thing on.
Of course.
Well,
Full jurisdiction over the the
Yeah.
water, U.S. territory.
what
so.
would be an instance of someone you would be arresting? Can be
It
anything.
could be anything, drugs.
Yeah, well, that was
alcohol, anything like that.
My first thought.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
we don't have too much of that around here. It definitely is here, and there's definitely
Yeah.
immigrants, and we definitely have illegals here, and there's a lot of stuff.
really?
But we try to maintain it as best as we can, and
Yeah.
prevent the public from hurting themselves, whether it be for SAR cases. Like we had a very low number of SAR cases this year, just from SAR stands for search and rescue.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Forget to say that sometimes, but we've had a very minimal amount this year. That's just from us preventing people doing boardings and stuff like that, making sure people are safe. People have their fire extinguishers, they have their flares. It's just small stuff like that that just helps the public, and
Very good.
that's how it is.
Yeah. Securing us.
Yeah, that's
And
all.
for that we thank you.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. And now we're speaking with Jonathan Sharp, who is coxswain here at the U.S. Coast Guard in Sandwich.
Yes, ma'am.
So nice to meet you.
Good to meet you.
And tell us about what you do as coxswain.
So my primary responsibilities as a coxswain is the safety of the crew and anybody who's on board, completion of our missions. So what that can entail is training missions, like what we're going to do to get today with you guys. Take the boat out, do some training with our other vessel. That's also law enforcement missions. We'll go out and just make sure people are being safe on the water, recreational boating safety. Occasionally we'll do fisheries as well. And the big one, of course, that everybody knows about is search and rescue. So,
Right.
That's that one. Our alarm goes off, we hear what's going on, and, I'm in charge of mustering the crew and, getting everybody ready to go, and while we're underway, I'm in charge of this vessel, everything that goes on it, and I run our portion of the search case from this vessel.
Oh, okay. Now, what's your response time?
Our max response time that we're supposed to have is about 30 minutes from when we get the call to when we launch, but usually we launch in less than 5.
Wow.
Depending on the time of the year, what time of day it is.
Very impressive.
Usually 5 to 10 minutes, and it really depends on where it is in the area. Over on Buzzards Bay, it might take us the better part of 10 to 15 minutes to transit the canal, depending on traffic. Out in Cape Cod Bay, again, depending on where it is, it can take us usually 10 to 20 minutes. If it's on the far end of our area of responsibility, we might be looking at around 15 to 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But this vessel can do upwards of 45 knots when it's opened up all the way.
Really?
So we can get most places on a decent day in a good amount of time.
And depending upon the tide and so on in the canal, the tide can be
Absolutely.
a deterrent.
The current can be an issue. The tide can be an issue. Also affects where we can and can't go because you don't want to hit the bottom of the ocean with your boat. So, but yeah, and also the sea state. How windy it is, how high the waves are getting, things of that nature. That will also have a very big impact on our response time.
Excellent. Well, I thank you.
Thank you. All right, looks good. All right, so while I'm back here, usual stuff, no watches, no rings. We do that because it could get, I'm wearing them, but I'm not working the line. You do that because it could get caught. If it gets caught, you take your scanner, your finger with it, so you don't want that. So yeah, we're going to approach on the starboard side. I'm going to come up just parallel to them. The weather's nice, so I'm going to come up parallel. We're going to put over a line. They're going to take it in. All right, we're just going to kind of sit still a little bit, let them get the line over. They're going to get our line over on their tow post, or Samson post, that's what we call them. Have a shot on one. Take a shot. Good shot at. Orange boat. Line's over. Eyes going over. Knots going over. Eyes on board. Eyes on the Samson post. Good line around there, working turn. Aye, aye. Round turn, working turn on the bit. Yeah, 80 feet. Aye, aye. Speed slow. Speed's good. Request a breakdown to a round turn. Breakdown to a round turn. Aye, aye. 30 feet at the bit. 40 feet at the bit. 50 feet at the bit. 60 feet at the bit. Speed's fast. 70 feet at the bit. 80 feet at the bit. Make it. Make bit eye. 1 figure 8. 2 figure 8. 3 figure 8. It's Captain May. Set a tow watch. Alice got tow watch. 6 o'clock, light to medium straight. She's veering off to your port side. Light to medium straight.
We've had a wonderful day here at the Coast Guard Station in Sandwich, Massachusetts. Thank you for being with us. This is your host, Robbie Haigh, and you are watching Downtown. And thanks to all our guys here for our trip. What a wonderful day.
Thanks for coming out, Robbie. And we'd just like to end it with a message to our mariners that enjoy the waters with us to always be safe and remember to wear your life jackets.
Excellent. Thank you so much.